Welcome back to the real episode number 7.
Yeah, we accidentally kept calling the last one number 7, but it's okay.
It all started when we were in the budget, and I was talking about how I can't believe we were on episode number 7, and we both just never figured it out. How did you figure it out? You figured it out first.
It was when I went back and listened to it, and we started talking about at the end how, wow, we just finished 6, and once we get to 7, that's like a pivotal point in podcast that like we still like each other or something. Remember you saying that at the end of the last one?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I have 3 spider friends in here today with me.
How big are those spiders?
Oh, they're the granddaddy long legs, so they're like, like their bodies are so small, but their legs are long. But see, the sad thing is there were 3, and now I only see 1, and I have not done anything with the other 2, so I'm just like...
Could be just climbing up your chair.
I know, if you see me jump, like, just... Oh, it is kind of crawling over.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, how, besides Daddy Longlegs, how's it going over there in North Carolina? I'm so sad. It's so different. Now that we did an episode in person, it's just not the same.
I know, it's not the same, but it's okay. It's still fun because we are able to chat with each other. It's just, I wish that you were here, but...
I know. I think you really would get sick of me. In this relationship, if y'all don't know, I am the person who's always wanting to talk. And Lauren's always the one saying, I'll call you later.
I'm just not that big of a... Hold on. Oh.
I have a Coke. What do you have, an Alani?
Yeah.
I have a crisp Coke Zero.
These Alani. This is the pink slush flavor. So good. But I'm just not like a big phone person. Even like I will talk to you on the phone because that is what you need, and I will do that for you. But even when like Chad calls me during the day, I'm like, what?
You're a texter.
Like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. And it's because I am a very, like, I need to be doing multiple things at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times if I'm on the phone, I can't talk and do something else. But if I'm texting, I can do a lot. Like, I can text, I can put the phone down, I can forget about the text.
Don't you forget about my text.
I do that with a lot of people. I forget. But yeah, I think that's why the phone, like having to sit and focus and, talk and converse, I can't be doing other things at the same time. And I get out of breath.
I'm a phone call girl. I do my best phone calls in the car too. So I feel like I always call you when I'm in the car.
Yeah. And I love a phone in the car. That's great because I can't really do anything else anyway. So that's perfect.
But this is the way that I get Lauren to talk to me on the quote unquote phone for at least an hour a week. So she didn't realize that this is my way of sneaking in that phone call. Let's start a podcast. And that's how I get my needs in this friendship met.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked us, like, why did y'all decide to start a podcast? And I'm like, well, truly, it was taking our phone conversations and basically making them public.
Basically.
And maybe eliminating a few. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I love talking to you. It's great.
Great. I'm glad.
You haven't mentioned anything about my shirt, which I know not everybody can see my shirt, but...
Well, it said, do you like lizards and stuff? Like, what is that from?
So this is Tanner with the Tism. His shirt line that he has, it's like bring the joy.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But this is one of the shirts. And
oh my gosh. Was it something that he had said on Love on the Spectrum, which I have not watched either season. So I don't know.
Watch it, but I'm assuming so.
Okay. Well, it's cool.
I know.
I need to look at it closer.
I just figured you would ask because you normally know like what I'm wearing, but this isn't. This is autism related, but I think it says it on the bottom that you can't see it. Yeah. But it's fun. I'll have to find the backstory on the shirt.
I love that Tanner loves those things.
I know. He's so sweet.
He is so sweet.
So what's been going on in your life? Tell me everything.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't last episode. It was the episode before where I said I was bummed out because I really thought I had this location picked out for like a studio / like community center / little retail showroom. And, it just wasn't meant to be. So today, actually, I went and looked at another location, different vibe, different everything, but I kind of like it. I don't know. I showed you a quick video. What do you think?
I mean, I was definitely getting vibes from it. I felt like it was exactly what I had imagined.
Yeah.
And I really think you could do some amazing stuff with it. And I want to come and see it. If you would please invite me to Texas.
Of course I would. Of course. I don't know. I'm like, because with a lot of these places, you have to be like locked in for 3 years. So I'm like, okay, could I see myself there for 3 years? Because it's like an industrial like flex space, but I kind of love that because I want to connect with other like local businesses, right there. And I think that'd be really fun to like, I don't know, do some stuff together. But really the reason why I want to find a place and I'm so excited is because I want to start having the like local mom meetups there and have things like pediatric dentists come and talk with us and make us feel at ease about coming to check out their practice and how they work with autistic kids, for example. Or like I was telling you, trying to find like a lawyer that could come in and talk to us about like how to get a special needs trust fund, like really things that we really need. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm hopeful that something like that will happen soon. We'll see what happens there. But I'm
super excited about that. I think that would be so beneficial for the community too. And I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Thank you. Well, what's happening in your world? I feel like let's talk about your stories yesterday. And I think what I want to talk about too is like how amazing it was, all the help that was offered to you.
Yeah. So with the foundation, we've had like a bunch of applications that I've been going through, but it was in like the 300, 400 range. And then over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, we had a huge influx of applications, and we were at 1375.
Oh my God.
And that doesn't, include people we've already helped of that 300 to 400 before. So that's like on top of that. So we just had a lot of applications come in and a lot of people that needed help. And I hate turning people away, and I hate making people wait for an answer, because I know that a lot of times they're asking because it is needed like immediately. But then I hated putting people that had just applied before people who had applied months ago and still hadn't heard anything, because as some people know, like I had a baby last year. So with the welcoming of Lainey, even though she's about to be a year old, that this past year I've been just slower. Plus, I'm still so new at this. I'm still figuring out what the heck I'm doing. And just trying to figure out the process of going through the applications, who we can help, who we can't. So yesterday I finally I guess it all just came to a head, because I felt like I was just really far behind, and I hate being behind.
I know you do.
Seeing that number so big and knowing that currently I'm helping at least 10 families a week, which seems like a lot and is a lot. But whenever you think about how long it'll take for me to get to all of those applications, is not enough, I need to be helping more. So I closed the application process, or the application form on the website. I closed it, which I have never done. I mean, I'm not that old. Like, we're only have been doing applications for like almost 2 years, but I closed it so that I could really focus on helping those that have applied and then would plan to reopen in the fall. But after I closed it and posted it on my stories, so many people messaged me saying they wanted to help. And what was beautiful about it is it was a lot of the people that I've already helped, families
Oh,
that I've sent funds to.
amazing.
Yeah. Or families that have applied themselves and just want to help other families, and they can't do so financially, but they can give of their time and service. So that was just, I was telling you before we got on here that I spent the morning crying, just like reading through these emails of people saying like, let me help.
Yeah.
And I don't like asking for help because I want to figure this out on my own. But at the same time, I know that taking the help, we can make a larger impact. So I have like almost 40 people right now who have volunteered,
Wow.
and we're going to go through and divide and conquer these applications. And then as soon as we, get all the funds out that we're able to do with these current 1,300 applications, then we'll reopen the process. And my goal is for September, because I really don't want to make people wait too long, but I
Yeah.
also want to give myself time to really thoroughly look through the applications.
Yeah. No, that's a big undertaking. And I was telling you, I love so much that you had all of these amazing people wanting to reach out and help and volunteer their time. And if you're listening and you don't know, a big, reason why Lauren does this is because she wants 100% of the proceeds to go back to families. And, hiring help that can hinder that mission. And she needs a lot of help right now. And the fact that people are volunteering just makes it even like sweeter.
Yeah, that. And I knew that there were people out there that would help. I just, we all have so much going on that I want to just be like, no, you sit back, you take care of your families and let me help. But then these people, it'll help them by helping others, just as you and I have both said that, doing what we're doing for our community has truly helped us. So I want to be able to give them that chance to feel like they're doing something too.
Yes, I love that you just said that, because people want to help this community. And what an incredible way that they can do that by helping you.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you released released
Release my control of the
Yes.
foundation.
But like, I don't want anyone to help me. That's how I feel. I mean, I've had so many people when I was doing this in my house, and just slowly dying, packing and folding. I had so many people offer to help, but it's like it's really hard to release that control and to teach someone or to train someone. And you just feel like, well, I can just do it faster if I just like get through it, instead of taking a day or a week or whatever to train someone, or I don't know. So I completely get it, but this is going to be great. And I think I was telling you, this is a God wink, and because you were having such a hard time asking for help, that you kind of, it presented itself without you asking.
Mhm. Yeah, because I didn't feel like I was asking for it in any sort of like subconscious way on my stories, but then so many people were like, let me. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I guess I could. And so I am excited for this too, because I feel like it could be like the start of like a new process with the applications almost, having
Yes.
these volunteers that are able to look through them, and maybe we can do it faster in the future, because I really want to streamline the whole process. But I also, like you said, I want it it's still my thing. So like I still want to read each application, like and I know I can, but I think that's what always has been hard is I did it for a reason, and it's because of Channing and being able to feel him help others through the foundation. And so I just never want to be hands off.
No, and you won't. That won't. We've talked about this at length, how that is something that you never want to happen. That's something you never want to happen, and it won't.
Yeah.
This is your passion, and so you're going to be heavily involved forever, even if you need some volunteers to help get you through busy seasons like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we asked on our Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
like our post, just some topics that people wanted to hear about. One of them was siblings. And if you've ever heard me talk about this is for me the hardest topic. This is the hardest topic for me to talk about because it gets me so emotional. But I wanted to see how you feel about it too, Lauren. Like, do you have any thoughts on the sibling dynamic? And is anything like currently happening that we want to touch on?
We have had I'm just like struggling a lot with just parenting in general, trying to figure out how to parent Channing in one way, what works for him, and then also parent London, how she is best parented, which I still don't know what that is because she is such a wild card. She and then Lainey, like baby, I feel like I'm doing the best with Lainey. And maybe that's just because she's 11 months old, but I feel like maybe like the third time's a charm, like I'm starting to get it right. Like she'll eat things, she's sweet, but also she's only 11 months old, so I'm not totally delusional.
She's so chill. And you've never had that experience with a baby. I mean, I've never had that experience. So
this is just a dream come true. But with London, like I can tell that she wants to connect with Channing, and sometimes they do connect, like they will play. But we're just at a really hard point right now with figuring out what their play looks like, what their connection looks like. London, she's getting to be, more curious about him and, wanting him to play with her, but then she doesn't because, she's an independent, well, not independent. Well, she's independent, but
the play looks different for Channing versus the way she plays.
Yes, and she's so bossy that like she wants him to play her way, and like that's not how he wants to play, so he's not interested in it, and it's just really hard because like I see families that are able. This weekend we took London just by herself, and we went to some baseball games at Chad's alma mater, and just looking around, seeing families that they just gather all the kids and they're like, okay, we're all going to go this way, and we're all going to stand right here in this little area. And for me, it's like I've just never, like, because Channing's going to go the other way and London's going to go the other way. It's like I don't know if it's me, like my parenting, if I just haven't like figured out how to wrangle. I don't know. I just feel like those signs, they're like going both directions. I feel like that's what my brain is doing in my parenting. I feel like that's what our actual physical life is doing. I just feel completely discombobulated. I don't know. Like, does anything I'm saying make sense? Like,
no, it makes absolute sense. But I first want to lead with, like, you are doing it right. I've been at your house so many times, and you're an amazing mom. And right now, it's just the ages are close, but still, like Channing's going to be 8 and London's going to be 4. So it's like they're close, but they're very different in age, but also bring in autism and spicy London. And it makes things even harder when it comes to trying to do things together as a family, to meet each child's needs, because they have completely different needs. And I feel like all the time that I'm not a great mom to Henry. I feel like because all of my attention goes to Rob because he is very high needs and he has a, you know, big personality. He's got those big emotions. I feel like all of my energy and efforts with patience and I don't know, things that don't come easily to me. Like I get overstimulated so easily. It goes all towards Rob. And then I feel like Henry is at this age where I'm like, okay, you're basically an adult, but I know you're not. You need me. I need to be there for you. And so I try to find ways to be the best parent I can with Henry, but I also feel like sometimes I feel like I'm too late because he's like already wanting to be with his friends more and do his own thing, and I feel like I'm losing time with him. I used to have such a hard time with just Rob's birthday. Now I'm having a really hard time too with like Henry's birthday because I feel like the gap is so big between the two of them, and the parenting styles also very different. But I feel like I'm losing Henry. You know what I mean? In a physical way. Like he's getting older, he's going to leave the nest soon, and like, I just have a different mindset with each child. It's hard. It's like this balance that I feel like we'll never get right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just want my kids to be good people too. And London's definitely not a bad person by any means, but there's just times that I feel like, am I like doing a good job raising her? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. But you are.
Because I'm so focused on so many different things. I'm like, okay, but I want to make sure that she's minding. And, when I say, because I feel like Henry is so like respectful, and, you've told me like that you're strict with him, and, which is a totally different parenting style than you have with Rob, I know. But, you've told me, how good of a kid he is. And then I look at London and I'm like, oh my gosh,
but let me tell you,
because this girl is crazy.
But let me tell you something. I feel the same way if I were to think about like Channing and Rob, because Channing is like the golden retriever of personality. And Rob reminds me so much of London. And I know we're not supposed to compare. So we're by no means like saying to compare your kids, but you can't help but do
compare.
it.
Everybody does. And it's really hard not to. And I'm not trying to compare. I don't know. Like I know that it's not like healthy or anything, but at the same time, like I'm more looking at it as like that's a goal.
Yeah. But we're also like talking through the reality of our situation, and it's like, I think we know we're not comparing, but sometimes we're wondering, am I getting it right? Because I see this child or I see this family. And sometimes you just need someone to say, no, you're absolutely doing it right. These are just the difference in children's personalities. I have to whiplash like all the time with the way that I parent. And I can understand why you feel that way when you think about it, because I think everyone does. But I don't know.
I'm just really struggling with it because I just saw like these kids just eating like all this good food. It's like the craziest stuff. And I'm like, how do you get them to do that? And then like, I just feel like everything I do is wrong when it comes to my kids. Like I love them so much, but then when I imagine like somebody else like stepping into my role for a day or something, it's almost like what I imagine. And I'm like, would they think like, you let them do XYZ, like what? Like you need to run a tighter ship. Or maybe they're thinking that I don't think anyone would ever think I'm not, or that I'm running too tight of a ship. That's not the case at all. And maybe I just need to, tighten up or something. I don't know.
No, I think you just need to talk through it and know that you're not doing anything wrong. It's just parenting is hard.
Some people make it look so easy though.
I know. I have a lot of people like that in my life, and I love that for them.
I love it for them too, but I'm also like, how do you do it? Because I want to do that. I want a
gentle parent.
I would love to gentle parent. My gentle parenting, I'm like, I see that you're upset. Oh my God. Like, trying so hard to do all the things and none of it works.
It's so hard. It's so hard. And I think it's okay to just be like, you know what? It's hard. But I think no good thing ever comes easy. Do we want to put a nice spin on it?
I know I'm trying to like find the joy in it all, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know.
I've been through all of these same feelings. I get it.
I mean, I'm a loving parent for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a supportive parent, 100%. But do I parent properly? I guess
yes.
Am I too much of a friend?
No, you're very hands-on. They're at this age where they need you to be understanding. I don't know. I think you're doing it right. I'll say too with the play stuff, with Henry, Rob, it was so hard for a while to get them to connect. And honestly, they really didn't connect until Henry got older. Now that Henry is the size of an adult, Rob is so interested in him, and he still even be like, doesn't want Henry. So it's hard with the play and the interaction, and it's just something that most days it's fine, but then sometimes or some periods it can feel a little heartbreaking as a parent because you just want that family dynamic that you see with the other friends or the people at the ballpark. You just want it to come so easily and naturally.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to feel like you have to force anything. And I just think a lot of us feel that. And it's normal. It's our normal. And I think just talking about it makes me feel better. And almost, I feel like it starts to get you to appreciate the way our house is.
Yeah, I think like so many times this weekend I heard, well, what would she just sit over there and play if you got like her, like drawing out or like coloring out, or because people could tell that I was really having to like kind of be back and forth and stuff with London. And, Channing wasn't there with us. And had he been there with us, it would have been even crazier. But I was like, no, she won't just sit there. And maybe that's because with Channing, I've always had to, be right by his side. And maybe she's seeing that whole thing. I don't know. I'm talking about this too much. I'm going down a rabbit hole of wondering all the things.
No. This is a rabbit hole that a lot of us go down. But I
guess I just start thinking like, why do I parent this way? Why do and I think it all, I don't know, just probably stems from, for me, the Channing's diagnosis and his autism, because I had to parent that a certain way. So I am still trying to learn a whole different way of parenting, because yours was the opposite.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, I was I was strict, but in a way that was like very loving, right? But we had like a lot of things like eat your vegetables and, you know what I mean? Like typical parenting things. Use your manners. That falls out the window with Rob. And it's hard, don't get me wrong, but it's also introduced some relaxation, and if that makes sense, into my parenting style with Henry. And I think
See, and that's what I think I'm thinking about, is that because I started with the relaxation style.
Yes. That's
am
what
I
I was
ruining
getting at.
London? Yes.
Yes, that's totally what I was getting at. Is for me, I've struggled with, I need to do this with Rob, but he's autistic. But this is how Henry turned out to be, his amazing self.
Yes.
And I want Rob to do, but I had to like let that go. And then actually, I was a better parent to Henry with the new way that I was parenting Rob. But for you, you're struggling because you're like, am I too relaxed already in my parenting? How I started with Channing. And I think, London's going to be 4. Her personality is starting to really shine. And you're just, it's like what we say, saddle up and follow their lead. I think with London, you're going to have to saddle up and lead with love. You're going to have to take the reins a little bit.
I know, and that's what I need to do. But then how do I do that? Because it's the whiplash of...
Yeah, welcome. I think, like you shared with me previously, you're just feeling all over the place, and that's why you're struggling with putting your thoughts together. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm so torn as to like how to do it right, and I don't feel like I'm doing it right. And I'm just really, I don't know, like I don't want to mess up any of my kids by me being a shitty parent, like, and I know I'm not a bad parent, but like am I don't know, like I don't know, just sometimes I just feel like I'm just, there's just so many ways that would be better than the way I'm doing it. And like, yes, I love them with all of me, but I don't know, I still, and maybe it's just the perfectionist in me, like I just want to be like the best, and I'm definitely not the best. But
yes, you're the best for them. But losing control is something that doesn't come easy to a lot of people. And I've been around you enough to know you have a pulse on everything. You're organized. You like to make sure that everything's taken care of at the house, right, in general. And so you're just, I think, feeling how a lot of us feel with the one thing you can never control is your children. You can never,
yeah.
I mean, really, like in the way that their personalities are, which we love our kids in their personalities, but we can't, when we're in the middle of like trying to figure out who they are, it's a confusing parenting journey because we're like, wait, okay, this is totally different than Channing. This is totally different than Henry. What am I even doing? Like, is this me, or is this like, how do I switch and be everything to everyone? And I think that's how also a lot of us feel, is like we're trying to be everything to everyone. And you have 3 amazing kids, and they're at that age where they're really developing their personalities, and they also really need you, but also autism. And you're running this incredible foundation, and it takes up so much of your time. And I know that's something you struggle with too, and I struggle with, is like, I love it so much, but it takes up so much time. Am I taking too much time away from my kids? Am I not there enough? Am I not doing everything I need to do? But I forget who we were talking with recently, and they had told us there's no such thing as balance. Like, we're never going to find the balance. But it can feel like that. And it's not you. You just feel like it is because you want it to be perfect. Like every good mother does. Every good mother wants their children's childhood to be perfect.
Yeah.
All we want is for our kids to look back and love the way they grew up. And
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now, your kids are going to feel that way. There's going
Yeah.
to be challenges. There's going to be things that we're probably not going to do right. It's going to be our fault as parents. But I think the best thing we can always do, what I've learned with Henry at least, is what he's told me, is always talk to him and apologize when I'm wrong and keep the communication open with how he's feeling. I always go to him at the end of the day, like if it was hard with Rob or whatever, and I just make sure he knows, I'm so sorry that I snapped at you. I'm so sorry that I did this. Like, it was just a hard day with parenting, and I try to just give him some words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And with London, she's at an age where you can't really be so transparent and open, It's a lot of vague. It's a lot of, you don't want to get too detailed with things. Obviously, she's only 4. With Henry, it's getting easier in that way, but I also don't want to put too much of how I'm feeling on Henry because he's still only almost 14.
Yeah, he's still a kid, but
Yeah,
it seems like he's an adult, basically, and it's so hard because that's how I, like with London, like so much of the way she talks is very adult.
Yeah.
And then, she has a lot of questions about Channing, and I want to answer those questions, but I don't exactly know how to right now in a way that she would understand. But I always want her to feel like we can talk about it, but then I don't want to put too much on her because she is a baby,
Yeah.
So I feel everything you're saying.
Yeah. Well, let's just agree that we're both great moms that feel like we're not some days. I think it's a very real feeling. The best, like, if you have to ask yourself if you're a good mom or if you're worried about being a good mom, it means you are, because it's at the forefront of your worries. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone told me that a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me. If you have to worry about being a good mom, it's because you are a good mom.
Yeah. And I fully agree with that. I think I don't know. I wish that I could, like, I still haven't come across a parent that I can be like, yeah, I'm doing it better than them. I don't feel like I ever feel like that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to, and I hate to say that, but you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
I want to be like, yeah, they should be looking at me for some pointers, but I'm like, don't look over here. Don't. There's no pointers coming from me. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. What you're doing. I'm thinking, no.
Oh, I know. I feel the same way. I never really thought about that, but yeah, I've never looked at someone else being like, I'm such a better parent than you. I did.
Never.
Well, listen, and this is the growth I've talked about in myself, like this gift that Rob gave me is because I used to be that judgy. I mean, I wasn't a mean person or anything, but like internally I would judge, like, oh, that child just, where is their mother?
Oh, I did that before having kids for sure. Yeah. Like I thought I was going to be this certain kind of mom, and I am like not that at all.
Preach.
Yeah.
So kind of love that for us, that little smack.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Smack her right in the face.
Right in the face. But I think our kids are just breaking it. Like, I feel like this conversation, our kids are just kind of breaking us down to make us better. So you feel this way, but it's a part of our growth as moms.
Yeah.
Is reflecting constantly. It's like the self-reflection never, like, I don't need a mirror, okay? Get that. I'm done looking inward. Just kidding. I mean, I love that. I love that for us, but it's It's a lot emotionally. It's an emotional roller coaster, but one that's taking us on an incredible ride to, I feel like, I will say the best destinations because we're always going somewhere new, right? It's like
Yeah.
we're not trying to get to one place. We're trying to get to great days all the time.
Yeah.
What did I say? Chasing fucking rainbows. That's all we do.
I know. I'm always chasing a damn rainbow. But I mean, I also feel like that's the way to be. You know, we
Yeah.
want to be looking for the good and finding the beauty in things, because the opposite is so sad.
Yeah.
But
And we find,
I wish the rainbow was just like right there.
yeah,
I don't want to always have to chase it.
thank you. I don't know. I'm so glad we talked about this today because I feel like I didn't realize you needed this release. And I
don't think I realized I needed it either.
I think it's good. You know, I think it's really cathartic to talk through our feelings. That's how obviously I always want to call you, so you should know that about me. I don't know. Did it make you feel a little bit better?
It did. I'm glad that I was able to kind of get it out, but I also wish that in my brain it would make a little bit more sense as I'm trying to discuss how I'm feeling, because I really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody out there can relate, and maybe even somebody could put it better into words.
We never claim to be, professional wordsmiths over here. And just because we're ending on a good note with how you're feeling doesn't mean it's like, okay, that's it, it's over.
Yeah, definitely not.
And that's the reality we like to bring to these kinds of conversations. It's like, this is still going to be something we continue to think about, and I don't know,
I might feel better about it right now, but then something's going to happen later that brings it back to the forefront and sends me back down into a tailspin. But
didn't think about this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's end on a high note. Channing had a great day at summer camp.
He did. So he's at a summer camp right now for children with special needs, and it's from 8 to 3. And he is just outside all day. And it was funny because when I picked him up yesterday, his buddy, because they each have a buddy, she was like, you were right. He sure does love throwing those rocks and that mulch, because that's what I had written on his little note that I sent in.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he does, girl. I was like, I wasn't kidding about it. She's like, he was just happy as can be throwing those rocks and that mulch. And I was like, okay, that's great to know that he at least has that release there. If he's ever feeling, dysregulated at all, like that is something that really brings him back. So I'm feeling like he's having a good week. So that's good.
Yeah.
What about Robbie?
I love that they notice that too about Channing. So they know, okay, if we're having any,
any trouble, this is what we're going to do.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Rob's doing great. He's got more loose teeth.
I saw that on your stories.
And he's like totally cool about it. Which, if you know Rob, he's very sensitive to these types of things. Like super sensitive. He's letting me actually put my finger in his mouth, which is something he would never do. I would try to check his teeth prior to just look for, I don't know, anything like cavities or, you know what I mean? Like, as a mom, check your kid's teeth. Would never let me. And now every day I ask, hey, can I wiggle your tooth? And he says, and I like wiggle. He's got his top tooth and his bottom tooth. And it's just been so nice. And I'm so glad because we needed this.
Yes. I can't remember, were you able to have the first tooth that came out?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. Because I find it funny because, Channing, he's lost 4 teeth now and we've found 2. I don't know where the other 2 are. And I've had people that are like, we've never found any of them. Or they bring them all to me. But I'm like, I wonder where those other 2 are.
Well, he was at therapy with the first one.
Yeah.
And it freaked him out. He didn't like it the first time. So they were able to kind of help get it out because it was like dangling, which this is like on the episode we talked about this. I can't even believe I didn't know it was loose. But like, you know, at that time, he wasn't coming to me and showing me that. But so they were able to like pull it out for him, and that's how we got it.
Yeah,
So
we were just talking about.
Yeah, the teeth are doing great.
Yes.
We're good over here. But yeah, so I guess we will see everyone for episode 8. You're going to St. John when? Episode 9, for the week of episode 9 or week of episode 10?
I think it's the week of episode 10.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, as you like prepare for the trip, I want to have a discussion about how you pack for something like this. So that'll be fun. Lauren's going to be in St. John for, what is it? For the whole family for 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh Lord, the packing, the snacking. The
packing for 3 kids. Yeah, I'm actually about to, well, we can talk about this on another episode, but I'm about to pack like a box to be shipped of all of the safe foods and the snacks, because there's certain things that we won't have access to.
Yeah.
And that stresses me the freak out.
Oh, we're going to get into it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will see y'all next week.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me cry and just spill out my heart. But it's been real.
Always.